After Demon Slayer became a popular anime, a ton of games tried to make it into an RPG. Some ended up being successful, and some flopped pretty badly. Today, we'll take a look at a fairly new one on the block that leans towards the lower end of the quality scale. Demon Slayer Weak Legacy is a game that's been in the works for a while, with the sneak peeks being interesting? All jokes aside, it's cool that there's another Demon Slayer RPG out there, so let's take a look at this game and see how good it really is. Before that though, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video so that you're notified of other content like this. So, let's go. Alright, so starting off with the first impressions, it's cool that they have a patch notes. Not having to go into the Discord to see what updates they made is a very good thing, and something that I wish all game developers did. So, bonus points to them for that. Aside from that, there's two other buttons. Well, technically three, but that one doesn't work. The two buttons are to play the game and to spin your clan. So, 5 seconds into the game, I already see something I absolutely hate. Of course there's a system where you have to rely on RNGesus to deal you a good hand of fate, so that you can have a decent build. Maybe the buffs won't be that unbalanced though. The two weakest clans are no buffs at all. And the two that I got that have buffs were 1 strength, 5 speed, and 10 durability for Agatsuma, and 3 speed and 15 durability for Kocho. Okay, doesn't seem that unbalanced, so maybe this game gets a pass. Also, the prices for spinning aren't that bad, so at least it's somewhat better than Project Slayer's. Nobody cares about clans though, so let's move on to the actual gameplay. Getting into the actual game, it's pretty rough. First off, there's no tutorial at all. You're basically just thrown into the game and expected to know what to do. The very first NPC I saw was the Flame Breathing Trainer, and after talking to him, I realized I can't use him. At least, not until I'm level 5. So, that's pretty rough. I looked around a bit, trying to find an actual NPC that could help me, and eventually, with the help of a friend, aka Dollar Store Rengoku, I was able to find an NPC that gave me a quest to kill 5 weak demons. And at that point, I realized, oh god, it's a bandit beater. This style of combat, in my opinion, has gotten way too repetitive in a very bad way. Project Slayers is a bandit beater, Blox Fruits is a bandit beater, and Demon Fall is a bandit beater. So this game basically has nothing special going for it, considering that it's also a bandit beater. So, getting into the actual combat, oh boy, this is extremely rough. It feels like I'm playing on 500 ping, because the buttons are so janky in a very, very bad way. It's almost like every time I try to attack, there's like a 400-second delay on any of my moves. It's not a very good combat system, though admittedly, it can be a little bit hard to get smooth combat up and running. So, since the developer's kind of inexperienced, he kind of gets a pass for it. That still doesn't deny the fact though that the combat is not fun to play with in the slightest, which is already a pretty big negative. I checked my ping to see if it was an issue on my side, and surprisingly, it wasn't. So that means that the combat is just naturally this rough and kind of laggy. But I persevered and went back to beating up these weak demons, aka bandits, until I had completed the quest. After completing the quest, I was given 100 yen, which I could buy a katana with, and I had leveled up. I bought the katana, and to my surprise, it's not really a stat-based thing and more so just a flat-out boost to your damage. So there's no sword and fist stat like there is in other games, rather you literally just get a buff when you get the katana. So that's interesting, but it's not the first game to do that, so I really won't take off points for that. Using the katana, I was able to basically 5-shot demons, and that made the quest a lot easier. So after that, I just did the quest over and over again until I had reached level 5. And then, I wanted to get a breathing. Issue with that is, like I said at the beginning, there's no tutorial at all. You're thrown to the wind, and you get nothing to help you figure out what to do. So, because of that, I went to everyone's trusty consultant, which is Google, or more accurately, YouTube. I looked up some guides on where to find some different breathings, and I decided, hey, why not get Mist? I mean, this looks kinda cool. So, yeah, I got missed by running 5 miles through the map to get to this snowy area that's hidden in a corner no one's going to find accidentally, and boom, I have my first move. To breathe, you have to hold G, and that's how you charge your breath. Your breath bar doesn't go down naturally, so you kind of just charge it up and then let it sit until you have to use your moves. Using a move consumes the breath bar, and that's a pretty standard mechanic that you see in a lot of Demon Slayer RPGs. This instruction on how to charge your breathing is listed in the description below, so I missed it initially. But, I mean, it works out just fine. Using the move, it looks okay. I've seen better effects for sure, but for how rough the sneak peeks were, at least the VFX looks fine. The move works okay, though it still has the issue of being extremely laggy and rough, and it works okay. It just works out fine. I used it, and I also realized that you can actually move stack it to combo extend in some cases, which brought back some nice little flashbacks to Rogue Demon, in a way. After reaching level 10, I was able to get the next quest, and the objective for that quest was to kill 5 slightly stronger demons. Not very engaging gameplay, and very repetitive, but hey, it's a bandit beater, of course this is what we're going to get. So I beat those guys up until level 15, which was the next level you needed to get your next breathing move. And after reaching level 15, same thing happened, I got my next move, which was a combo extending barrage that was, oh god, very rough. The timing on it would always be different for some reason, and instead of a fast-paced barrage, it was like I was slowly M1ing randomly with some weird trail coming out of nowhere. It would be an understatement to say that this was rough, cause it was extremely rough. But it kind of worked as a move, so that made the grinding process a little bit easier. At this point, I started to get bored, because there's not really much to do. You just kill the same things over and over again, and get stronger, and then there's basically nothing else. Ranked isn't in the game, and yeah, I don't know why you'd want to play Ranked in the first place with how rough the combat actually is. I looked for some bosses, and there actually are bosses, but because I was just at a mere level 20 or 17, I got 2-shot by pretty much everything, and that sucked. So yeah, glad to know that this game is very heavily stat-based. But I guess it's my own fault for going after stuff that's 180 levels above me. So yeah, this game has a pretty long and tedious grind process. Also, if you were wondering what the next level was for my next quest, it's 30, meaning that I would have to replete the same quest about 17 to 20 times if I wanted to actually progress even faster. And that's very, very boring and tedious to do. So at that point, I just said screw it, and went on to fighting my friend to see if this combat had any potential at all. Short answer? No. Not really. It feels like I'm playing Rogue Demon on 1000 ping. And that's an understatement in a way. Everything is so delayed and so rough that it's almost impossible to consistently hit someone. Some moves don't even register on the other person for some weird reason that only God knows. Like, I don't get it. I use a move, it's supposed to hit someone, so I want it to hit someone. But no, instead it just goes right through the person, and the hitbox might as well not exist in the first place. My friend literally just stood in front of me while I used a move, and nothing happened for the entire barrage. But I was still locked in place and the slashes were still happening, so it's not like it got cancelled or interrupted in any way. To cut the developer some slack, yeah, he's a rookie developer. I can't really be too harsh on him. He started off this game, to my knowledge, trying to basically copy Rogue Demon to get some more experience. And if that's his end goal, I mean, he did okay. It's not that bad of a copy, it's very rough. Like, all you really have here is a Walmart version of Rogue Demon's combat, and a Wish.com version of Project Slayer's progression. It's really not a good game to the point that it'd be worth playing over either of those games. Because if you're looking for combat, just play Rogue Demon. And if you want to mindlessly beat up bandits, then play Project Slayers. This game is just a worse version of both of those games, and there's no reason to really play it in the first place. I don't mean to be mean or trash on this developer's work, but that's the honest truth. His game needs a lot of work if it wants to compete with those two giants of the Demon Slayer industry, so yeah. Hopefully in the future he's able to polish his developing skills and make this game into something truly great, but at the moment, it doesn't really have much. Sure, it has some potential in terms of game mechanics, and the progression's a little bit less mind-numbing at the beginning than something like Project Slayers, but overall, it's just really not that great of a game. So let's wrap things up and explain my final thoughts. With everything about this game put together, it's just really rough overall. It has some pretty big issues when it comes to its base foundation and the other stuff it has. The combat in general is just kind of bad, for lack of a better word, and though there are cool mechanics like perfect blocking, it doesn't matter when it feels awful to play. Also, the fact that it's just another bandit beater with nothing special about it means there's no reason to play it over Project Slayers or Demonfall. Sadly, I can't really call this game a good one at the time of making this video, so I hope that the developer can make it better in the future. Who knows, maybe he'll pull it off. But with that, we've reached the end of the video. If you enjoyed watching, please like and subscribe because it helps out a lot and notifies you of other content just like this. As always, I'm you eternally, and I'll see you next time in another video. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.